This is some 360 video I filmed about a month ago. For those of you that don't understand how the 360 video works, you can actually manipulate it with your phone by holding your phone and moving your phone right or left, up or down. If you use a mouse on your computer, you can move the mouse and direct the picture where you want to look. This video from about a month ago, it has 77,000 views, which is quite a few more views than I normally get in that time period. I think the reason it has so many views is I basically entitled it "This Could Have Killed Me." 20 years ago, I was flying an M5 Maul with 235 horse, and it had quite a bit less performance. And so comparing what I'm flying now to what I was flying then is not a fair comparison. When I say it could have killed me, I actually mean it could have killed me. It landed at 60 miles an hour, and the day I was landing this plateau, I was probably landing at 65 or 70. Knowing the capabilities of your airplane is important, but knowing your own capabilities is just as important. And my capabilities in that Maul at the time I thought were elevated to a level that I felt like I could do it without risking my life. Looking back on it, I think I was being a little bit reckless at the time. It worked out. I kept the airplane going straight. I didn't break anything. But, looking back, if I had broken a gear leg at 35, 40 miles an hour landing it, yeah, I could have gone around, but if I had gotten so slow to the point where it spun me around or spun me off the edge, there would be no recovering from that, and you would end up in a ball at the bottom of the mountain. It's important to think about everything that can go wrong when you're landing a place before you land it, not while you're landing it. Not after you've landed it, but before you land it. Taking off kind of the same way. If you're gonna land a place, you need to be thinking about what your exit strategy is to get out of there once you've landed it. I've landed places where I thought, I didn't think that through very well. You're sitting on the corner of a gravel bar, and immediately on takeoff, you've got to make a hard left or right turn to clear an obstacle. And you're sitting on an off-camber gravel bar, and you're thinking, how am I going to get off this thing without hitting the trees as I come around that corner? These are the things that you're constantly, or should be constantly, mulling over in your head. I took off from this little plateau, and I thought, well, I'll come back and land it again, just for grins. And when I came back around the second time after taking off, I kind of got caught in this downdraft right off the end of it, added power, and decided, that's enough for today on that one. The wind had actually kind of changed just in the, 15, 20 minutes that I was sitting there running the drone, and it wasn't in my favor anymore. It's interesting how 5, 10, 20 minutes can change a spot from being totally landable to not being landable, or being more dangerous if you're going to attempt to land it. So picking your places when the conditions are in your favor are just as important as having the skills and the equipment capabilities to land it. Never underestimate the power of Mother Nature. If I had to choose a few things that affect my flying more than anything, it would be wind and turbulence. The weather, low visibility, that doesn't bother me nearly as much as super turbulent, super gusty, super windy conditions. Low visibility is very predictable for the most part, but wind and turbulence a lot less predictable. There's no doubt that wrecking my airplane in 2014 in very windy conditions has colored my feelings about wind and turbulence and how much I'm willing to risk in those conditions. So I tend to be probably more conservative than I used to be. I once asked a bush pilot friend of mine what he would do in super windy, turbulent conditions where he was actually worried about the airplane coming apart in flight. And he said he'd put it on the ground, whether he was going to wreck the airplane or not, and worry about the results later on, but he'd get the airplane on the ground without a second thought. That would be his goal at that point. I've thought about that statement my bush pilot friend has made, and it would be a very hard choice to put an airplane on the ground when it's actually still in flying conditions and you know you're going to wreck it. But what's your life worth?